In the first half of this video, we'll cover the access point and override for the pneumatic lock system, which locks you out of your trunk. And then we'll talk about the electronic lock or the top and motion lockout in the second part. And then we'll also cover the emergency release cable and dispel a big myth. I recommend you watch it all. So let's get some perspective. I have the trunk open. It's easier to show it to you that way. Yours is going to be closed. You're going to be looking up and to the left into the left license plate socket opening. I've already removed the socket and tucked the wires inside out of the way. Now we're going to take a look at the Paul cam assembly, the way it moves in and out to engage or disengage the trunk lock lever. Here's a little better angle. Watch closely as it locks. And then as it unlocks, I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see it even closer. So if you suspect pneumatic lock failure, just grab a long thin screwdriver and lightly push on the pawl assembly, pushing it inwards, and this will allow you to open the trunk. There's really nothing to it, no real pressure needed. Just push on it, it'll engage, and then you'll be able to use the lock lever to open the trunk, and this applies to both coupes and convertibles. Now, if you have a Roadster like I do, you have a second locking mechanism in the trunk. So if you've been working on your convertible top, maybe changing a hydraulic cylinder, you accidentally let the bow arm relock into the tonneau cover, you might say, oh my God, I can't get it unlocked. I go to the truck, manually unlock the bow, and you try to open the trunk and the handle feels like it's engaging, but it just won't let the trunk open. So you try to unlock it with the key fob and the doors unlock just fine, but the trunk still won't open. So, oh shit, what the hell do you do now? Get a blowtorch or what? The fix is really simple. Do not, I repeat, do not try to snag the emergency release cable with a J-hook coat hanger from the left license plate access point. You're just going to end up breaking the emergency release cable cam, which is made of plastic. What you need to do is remove the right side license plate light socket and perform this simple fix. And by the way, there's a modification that you can do while you're in there or at a later time, just so this never happens to you again. But watch this section and I'll show you how to get your trunk open. Really simple. Once again, note the perspective. Trunk's open to facilitate the video. I come in from the right side through the right license plate socket opening. Watch as the camera will finally focus in there, and you're going to notice like this little accordion white looking thing in there. It's really a dust cover over a piston of this electronic solenoid lock. And then you sort of follow it out, and there's a locking block, a plastic block. Now, all you got to do is work a screwdriver in between that sort of round thing that you see there and the edge of that block, and then just once you get the screwdriver and just pull it towards you, and voila, your trunk is open. Just like that, 3 seconds flat, trunk is ready to go. So break into your happy dance now. It's time. It's not unusual to go out at any time. So while we have this open, let's take a look at the emergency release cable cam. The trunk is open, the liner's removed, so we can sort of see the mechanism from the bottom. See how this thing really works. There's the cam itself. You can see where the cable is normally attached. I haven't reattached mine yet. And there's the actual electronic blocker that we just played with a minute ago. And you can see that with the electronic lock disengaged, the trunk opens if the emergency release cable is pulled. Almost no pressure required. But when that electronic lock is engaged, there is no way in hell that emergency release cable is actually going to open that trunk. If you pull on it, yank on it, whatever, all you're going to do is manage to break the end off of that cam. And if you look closely, you can see where I've glued mine back up. And even with just some super glue, it actually works perfectly unless that electronic lock is engaged. So take note, the emergency release cable will only unlock the trunk if the electronic lock is disengaged, period.